We're going to get things started today as we're going to recap the week in the local and national college basketball scene as both Maryland men and women remain in the top 10. And here with us to weigh in with their thoughts are Alena Neves, host of The Hustle with Alena 7, and Basketball Analyst Ray Rogers, who does a lot of stuff for us at the Roundball Report. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Roundball Report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alena, the Maryland men and women are doing great things. Ladies first, we can talk about them. They've won, what, 12, 13 in a row?
They are at 12 in a row. Yes,
Okay.
12 in a row. Last time they have lost a game was January 9th. So, and that was to a ranked opponent.
They always run through their
That was Iowa.
They always
Yeah.
run through the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Always.
But go ahead.
I was giving Brenda credit because she changed her philosophy. Brenda Freeze, she went down to Texas Tech to study their men's defensive full court pressure. It took her a while to implement it. They went through some struggles, but they went to, like you said, they had that loss to Iowa. They had a team meeting afterward. The team took over it, and they've been blowing everybody out ever since, 12 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, she's done a wonderful job with that team, but I think she's consistent, though. I mean, I like her coaching. I just like everything that she brings to the game. She brings a lot of energy. And I just feel like they're pretty consistent every year. She just has to tweak a few things. You know what I mean? To me, I think who's kind of like, are they going to play good or they're not, is going to be always Mark Turgeon to me. I just feel like it's kind of been 1 minute he's got a good team and then the next minute he doesn't. I think it's been a little rockier to me for him. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, some people.
They had won 9 in a row before losing over the weekend.
They did. Yeah, I mean, well, right, 9 in a row, right?
Yeah, for the men.
I think the men are more
men.
impressive than the women, to be honest. I think the men are more impressive.
Are more impressive.
Because they play tougher competition. No offense to the women, it's just their conference is kind of weak.
You think a Big Ten is weak?
I do.
On the women's side?
On the women's side.
On the women's side. I was about to say.
No, not the men's side. That's my point. I'm saying
that's your
that the
point. It's
men
a little
players,
bit different.
They play a tougher schedule, and they beat some tough teams on the road and at home.
Yeah.
So that's it. They just need to get their shooting together. That's the biggest issue. They're not a 34% three-point shooting team.
So for the women, my thing is at this point, we see that they can beat those Big Ten opponents. That hasn't been a problem. Now, when we get into that top 5, can they beat the South Carolinas, Oregon, Stanford? That's their true test when they get into that NCAA tournament. How do we think they're going to match up?
I think they're a bit undersized when it comes to the Stanfords of the world and also South Carolina. They played South Carolina early in the season. Maybe that experience will help. I don't know. You played college basketball. Does it make a difference for the younger players this time of the season where now they've got some experience under their belt? Are they ready now for the big stage, you think?
Well, you know what most coaches say. At this point in the season, you're no longer a freshman if you are a rookie, so to speak. You're now a sophomore. Junior, you're now a senior. Senior, you know, you're here, your experience, and all those other great things that comes along with it. My thing with Maryland is because they don't go up against the top tier competition every single night. When you get into the NCAA tournament, it could be similar to UConn, so to speak, and how they've been over the past couple years. They haven't gone out and played teams that are giving them that competition. Except for this season, they've had a pretty tough schedule, but it just all comes to show, you know, are they getting enough reps by blowing these teams out in the Big Ten? And then when you get to the big dance, you're stuck in the Sweet 16. You can't advance or get over that hump.
Well, got to defend the Big Ten a little bit. You know, South Carolina's only loss came to Indiana, who Maryland has beaten by 30 twice. So, I mean, they're not as athletically imposing as the Southeast Conference or the Pac-12 or the ACC, but the style of play can cause a problem. But I think going to style of play, Maryland's style of play this year, I think is going to carry them further in the tournament because she's using their athleticism. Shakira Austin has been playing great lately.
We love Shakira Austin. You know, she's a favorite.
Yes, and of course, Kyla Charles is doing her thing. But the defense has been a consistent thing, and the freshman Ashley Owusu is playing great. She's the one I was referencing. Like, is she ready now? You know, because again, she was a bit out of control at times. That's why they brought her off the bench as the 6th man.
Right, and now the game is slowing down for her. She's
getting a lot of double-doubles.
I mean, she's got the size, she's got the handles. I just hope they don't go on scoring droughts. They've always been able to do.
But that's what I'm saying. Well, but they've never done the full court defense like they're doing now. They're averaging they're getting 20+ turnovers a game from their opponents. Now, granted, they're slower, less athletic Big Ten opponents, but they beat Iowa by 35, and we're up by 40 in that game.
When they always pick you up like quarter court, though, I feel like they always play pressure defense.
She went down and got this defense, this 1-2 from Texas Tech.
Right.
She made a trip down and totally
Casual,
changed it, and they're switching in the man-to-man half court. So they've never played defense like this, and I think that's going to be their calling card. And the most important thing is they're in the battle for a 1 or 2 seed, which is going to make all the difference in the world.
It's the last
You know,
one
but that's to say something about who she is, like as a coach,
To humble
really
herself.
kind of humble herself, to go down and go, wait a minute, as much success that she has already had, she took her butt down to Texas and was like, wait a minute, let me go learn. If I want to beat the best, I gotta be able to learn from somebody that's winning. Yeah, so I mean that's exciting. I think that's great as a coach. That says something, and that just makes her more even all around. And that alone, sometimes just that, and the expansion of her knowledge, her gamesmanship, everything. Just as a coach, she can now redirect her players, like you said. You know what I mean, and just take everything to the next level. So I think they're going to do well. I think they're going to go far. My daughter was just talking about them the other day to me, you know, because my daughter goes to NC State, so
Right.
she plays for NC State, you know.
There you go.
Yeah, but NC State is even doing well, you
Yes.
know.
Yes,
So
very
NC State
well.
women
Oh,
too, women's
they beat
basketball.
Maryland.
They beat.
That was early in the year.
But I wanted to ask real quick, because in the South Carolina game, remember they got severely out-rebounded. Will that be a problem, even if their defense is better?
I think Shakira and Stephanie Jones have grown. Shakira got totally
Shakira was
outplayed.
coming off the bench, right?
No, she was
She
starting.
was always starting?
She,
Oh.
Yeah.
Stephanie Jones was
Stephanie
coming
Jones
off
comes-
the
there we
bench,
go.
and
She
she
got
made
it.
that adjustment when she was playing well. Okay,
Wow.
let me put Ashley Owusu, bring her off the bench. Let me put the two big people on the court together, and that way,
make a
and
difference.
that's what I like about Brenda Freese. Not afraid to dig deep and make those
Yes.
adjustments that are
She's
needed.
just- It's
Yeah, good job.
It's the coaching to me with her is just so strong. I just love to watch her. You know, like I was kind of frustrated, I would say, with the way Coach Turgeon was dealing with the game yesterday. You know, I mean,
Talk about it.
I understand. I just don't understand. I mean, I understand he had to go to his bench and he was trying some other players. His starters just were not giving him a lot of production. I get that. I mean, his two main guys, Anthony Cohen Jr. and Jalen Smith, just couldn't rely on them yesterday.
Well, they got in foul trouble.
And they got into foul trouble very early. And so he had to play some games and play some trickery. But when you see that you are not scoring for 5 minutes, 6-minute droughts in scoring, you gotta take a timeout, make an adjustment. He could have made I thought of 3 different key areas where he could have made an adjustment. Right before halftime, he could have made an adjustment. They weren't even scoring. Did you see that? 5 minutes into going into the half, I was like, they went into a shooting drought. Then they went into another shooting drought when they came back from halftime, and that's when Ohio really took it up with the energy. They came out with the right intensity, and I just felt like, wow, what is Turgeon doing? I understand he was getting defensive stops from Ohio. I understand. They made Jalen Smith's life a living hell yesterday.
Right.
He has been what? He's been averaging
He's been
like
balling.
double-doubles.
Yeah, 10 straight
been
double-doubles,
balling.
9 straight
He
double-doubles.
had 8 points yesterday.
Right.
But that's something that, as a player,
Adjustments.
you know you got to be prepared for it. You know it's coming. Like, after a while, teams are going to get tired of you being the double-double machine, and they're going to make their adjustments. So, like you said, Coach Mark Turgeon, what are you going to do to combat that, knowing that teams are going to give them their all, their 2 best players?
Well, that was the one concern that people had was the depth, lack of
The
depth in the
depth.
front court.
Lack of depth.
After the Mitchell twins left,
Right.
they only have they got Mirasol, which is he's not ready to play.
You can play Scott at the 4,
But he
maybe.
or Ricky
student.
Lindo, he doesn't play him for some reason. 6'8", 6'9", sophomore. He could take up some minutes, but that's been the one concern. If Six Smith gets in foul trouble, what are they going to do when they face a team like Ohio State that has veteran front court presence?
Well, Ohio State didn't have the best game offensively either. So again,
Well, they hit 8 threes in the
8
first
threes.
half.
Yeah.
That's
but they only hit 10 for the game.
right, but that's what that was.
That was
That's what put them in the
catapulted
hole.
them, and then in the second
that's a hole
half,
they couldn't get out of that.
Maryland and
that
Ohio
goes back
State,
to
39
offense.
and
That's what I'm saying.
39.
I think defensively they'll be fine going down the stretch. But offensively, you can't go and scoring droughts the way they do, and it happens all the time. The Terps hit, 10 threes as well, right? You had not Morcell, I'm sorry. You had Wiggins that had 6 threes, right? And then you had Ayala that had 3. That means only one other guy could hit a perimeter shot.
Right.
In my opinion, only Cowan goes to the rim effectively and on a consistent basis.
Morcell can. He needs to do it more.
He needs to
But
do
they
it
always
more.
getting shuffled in and out the starting lineup, and that's what comes,
Well, he's
with coaching,
had
I
a
guess.
consistent starting lineup. He's had
Lately.
Wiggins coming off the bench for the
Right. Which
9-game
I
winning
like,
streak.
Because, again, I felt like he just
Yeah,
played
so-
better off the bench the past
Yeah,
season.
so he's rolled with them. But, I mean, at some point, you got to give credit to the opponent. I mean, they had
No,
won 9
you did.
straight in the toughest
Yes,
conference in
yes.
the country by far.
Oh, yeah.
So they would
Yeah.
do a loss. They've
they
got
were.
4 games
It's bad
left.
timing, though.
There's still
Yeah.
2 games up because Penn State lost yesterday as well. There's still 2
So did
games clear
Baylor
first
come
place.
back?
Baylor
Well,
lost.
Baylor
Yeah,
lost.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm talking about in terms
San
of-
Diego State
Yeah.
lost. It was a loss
It's
across
like
the
they
board.
could be
all
a
the
1
top
seed,
seeds, yeah.
and they could potentially been, playing for a #1 spot in the
Yeah.
country.
That was just.
Well,
they didn't have to
yeah.
be part of the group of like
If they
the
win,
top teams.
if they
all
win,
lost.
if they
That
win
was a
out
big
and win the
headline.
Big Ten tournament, they're still in the
Exactly.
contest for
Well,
#1
they're
seed
up by
because San Diego
Exactly.
State doesn't play anybody and Gonzaga
You're right.
doesn't play anybody
You're
in
right. I didn't think
conference.
about it like that.
So all in all,
They're ahead by 2 games.
do you
in there.
see them winning the Big Ten tournament?
Wow.
It's gonna be
When
a
it
tough
comes
con-
down to it,
It's
it's
gonna
going
be
to
They
be
need to
tough.
finish out.
tough.
That's
Will
a
they
tou-
be able to win it?
I'm old school. I never count Izzo out. I'm sorry. I don't care how
Yeah.
bad they look.
I agree.
In Michigan State, if they win the Big Ten tournament, look out. That I never count them out. But do they have a good shot? Of course they do. They got Jalen Smith. To me, he's one of the best big men in the country, and that's how you win. That's how you win games on defense. Good guard play is great, but if you have a good big man, which is rare these days, I think they can win it.
I think it's going to be tough. I think that Ohio State is going to be highly risky because now they already know how to beat them. I think that.
Well, Ohio State has had their ups and downs
They
this
lost
season, so it
6 in a
depends
row.
on what Ohio State team you're going to get.
Right, but they already know how to shut them down. They already have the game plan. And what they've also done is expose them for some of the inconsistencies that Maryland has. And then also the fact that Maryland has a history of going down, coming in from the half, right? They go down and then they're able to really pick themselves up. And sometimes they've gone as far as 14 points, I
Yes,
think,
they were down
deficit.
by 14 at Northwestern and won by 10.
Right, right. And then Michigan State, did they go down at Michigan State?
They were down by 8-7
Yes.
with
So it
Seven
kind of
minutes
poses
ago.
the
Right.
question, can they continue to do that and be successful?
Well,
Tournament.
it's when it gets down deep, they're not gonna. You gotta come out with the right set of
Yep.
energy and intensity. You can't. When you get up that level, when you get to that level, you 7, you the top in your. Everybody's gunning for you too. You the big man on campus. I mean, you #1 in your conference. So everybody's gonna want to knock you off. So everybody's gonna come ready to take you out.
All
You
right.
can't. I mean, I even tell my daughter that. I'm like, how do you lose?
We tell your daughter when it's time to go to break.